Hi, I am Bonnie Krebs from Art Impressions here at Scrapbook.com, and I am going to show you our new watercolor releases. This is one of my favorites. So this new bike set, I'm going to show you how to put this little project together. You're going to love this. If you're new to this technique, I'm going to kind of walk you through it as I go so that you understand how to stamp these things. If you've done this before, there are lots and lots of new images for you to add to your collection. So don't be intimidated by this. The whole project is done with stamps and markers and a little bit of water. So it's really like magic. Okay, so let's get going and stamp this little bike. So we're going to need a couple of things besides the bike set. And the bike set, by the way, comes with 4 separate little bikes. So lots of options with this one. The new Foliage Set 4, this is now becoming one of my favorites. I love this set. So it's two small vines and 2 accent grasses. We're going to use those 4 stamps from this set. And then the mini flower set, we're going to use this little group of flowers and grasses. And then in the foliage set, our little grass that we use almost in every project. You cannot be without that stamp. And then in the flower set, the little filler flower. Okay, so that is all we need to create a beautiful little painting, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So we're going to start out with the bike. We're going to ink that. That's our basic image, and you want to always start out with the basic image. Everything kind of goes from there. We add our flowers and our foliage and everything after we stamp the basic image. So I'm inking this now with a dark brown. And then I'm going to go back over it again with a dark blue. And it's going to kind of give us a nice color combination. We want this little creation to look like a painting. We don't want it to look like it's stamped. We want it to look like it's painted. And so that's why we use a mix of color. So I'm going to stamp this now into the center of my paper, and I don't want it too dark. So just good even pressure. So once that's done now, we're going to pull the color out of the lines. And you can see these lines are small. These areas are small and narrow. So I'm going to use a tiny little brush. This is a number 1. And I'm just going to get it wet and pinch it off and start by pulling the color out of the lines. So just drag this color out of the lines to the center and try to always leave a highlight. And this is just the beginning process. We're going to add some color to it later and add some more details. So this is just the first steps. Always stay in your own section. What that means is that you don't want to cross any lines. You don't want to cross any horizontal lines. You don't want to cross any vertical lines. You want to stay in each section with your brush. So we have got a good start here, and you can see that little bike is starting to look 3-dimensional. So let's continue on, and we're going to go ahead and add some flowers, some little foliages into these little baskets. So the first thing we want to do is add our vine. So here's the little tiny vine, this one right here, and I'm just going to ink it in the green. And I'm just going to turn my watercolor paper so that I get a good impression here. So just like that. This is a really small little area, so we don't need to use the whole vine. Just a little bit like that. And let's go ahead and add the flowers in here now. And I'm going to use a bright red. And just a couple. So again, this is a small little basket, so we don't have a lot of room. And now I'm going to go back to my number 4 brush and start with my foliage and just soften these lines. So just touch all these little lines with a brush and soften them. So basically, I'm just softening what I've just stamped. Okay, so let's go on to this little section here. And I'm going to use some Post-it tape just to protect that part of the bike here. So just going to cover that up. And I'm going to use my little flowers that come with the grasses. So there's 2 parts to the stamp. And I'm going to start out with a light blue. And I'm going to ink this in 2 colors. So the grass is green and the blue flowers with a blue, light blue. And then I'm just going to kind of clean that off again and change colors. So there's the green. And now here, let's change it to purple. And you can see I just tapped that in there a couple of times. So dip your brush, pinch it off so that it's almost flat, and start with the lightest color. So that would be the blue, and just touch all these little dots. And now this is dry here, so I'm going to add a little more foliage in here. And just don't be afraid to turn your page, your paper. And just pull that color out. You can create a really nice halo effect just by dragging this color to the outside. And let's just add a little more color now to the background. So I'm going to take some light blue and just put it on my palette and dip my brush in water and just lightly brush in a little color. Just a little bit into the background. So let's go on to the next step and let's start adding some color in here. So I'm going to put some purple on my palette now too. And I'm going to add some color now to these little baskets. And when we add color, we always start from where it's the darkest to the lightest. And this one too, back in here, see how that basket goes back into the background? That's going to be really, really dark. And this area here, much, much lighter. And let's go back in here again and really get the sides of these baskets. This one and this one really, really dark. So now I'm switching over to my tiny brush, and I'm going to start adding some color in here. And the little seat, leave a highlight on the top. Always leave a highlight on the top. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of brown onto my palette and just put a little color onto these tires. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's go on to the bottom now of the bike, and we're going to put some more foliage in and some more flowers in here. So here's that little vine again. And I'm just going to put in a little of this. Stamp and add water. That is it. Stamp and add water. And these little vines and grasses, they're in so many projects that you just get really good at it because it's practice. And then let's just drag this little green line all the way across. Put a little grass in here, across the bottom. And finish off with those little accent grasses. Love these. Okay, one last step. With these little bikes, the spokes are put in later. There's a reason I did that, and it's because it's too hard to stamp in between those spokes and get water in there without making a kind of a muddy mess. So we just put these in with a pencil. Don't stress out about this. Just put them in just like this. Turn your paper and just kind of work your way around just like that. So it's just the idea of these spokes. So I am ready now to put this card together. So I went ahead and cut out my project with the Hexagon die set. And there are lots of different sizes in here. So I've cut this out, and you can see these little dies have double stitched lines. So they create a really nice decorative edge on here. So let's put this card together. I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back and just glue this together. I just love this color palette, and it just works perfect for these stamps. And one more. Glue that all down to the base card. And we are finished with this little project. There we go. Ready to send to that special person. And how awesome is that to send someone something that you have made personally, a one-of-a-kind. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more from Scrapbook.com, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a message. Happiness is life handmade.